get this into the workshop, bring you guys through it, but as it's out here right now, let's do a little burnout to start it off. What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So as promised, this week I'm going to take you for a full walkthrough of the Falken Tyres E92 Eurofighter, to why we decided to choose this car and some of my favorite things about the car, and also what we plan to change with this car leading into the new season. So yeah, we decided to build this car towards the end of the 2019 season because I've been driving a Falken Tyres S14, which is honestly a brilliant car, but I've been driving it for a lot of seasons and we wanted to try something new. And as I'm a huge fan of cars and builds at heart, I wanted to try to put together the best possible car that we could, and with the help of HGK in Latvia, all my partners and our own workshop D&M Sport here in Ireland, we managed to build and create this machine, which is personally my favorite build that I've ever had the opportunity to drive, and you know, owning it is just an absolute dream. So let's get stuck in, so show you guys around. So yeah, she looks pretty sweet on the outside. It's a full carbon Kevlar body kit, so everything is carbon Kevlar. The bonnet, the bumper, the wings, the doors, the side skirts, the roof. As you can see how light it is. Quarter panels, you can see the carbon Kevlar in here. Extremely lightweight. The boot, the rear bumper, some of the parts inside the car, which you'll see soon. And the main reason for the carbon Kevlar is obviously it's really lightweight and a lot more durable. So where with an old fiberglass bumper that we use in the other cars, you might get away with 1 or 2 wall runs and then the bumper is totally destroyed. You can literally, this is the same rear bumper as the last season. So this did a full season. We just patched up both sides from rubbing walls, and yeah, it's the same kit that was on the car when we crashed it in Mondello Park last year. So OCT Composites and HGK Racing did a great job developing this body kit, and yeah, it really does the trick. And the bumper is just extremely easy to remove. There's 2 clips right in here, there. You pull the 2 of them, 1, 2, and straight off. Right. They're absolutely awesome. They just sit onto those little fellas and the clip fits in here, and that's it, fully attached. And to put it back on, just line them back up. Done. And changing nitrous in the car is also extremely easy. The bottle's just sitting inside the back quarter window. A few quick release clips. Pull out the window. Then there's a little pin here. Pull that. That's it. Nitrous bottle free. You can also have a clear view of the Corbeau seats here with the Irish flag on the back. Really, really nice touch. I absolutely love those seats. Custom James Dean logo on the side with the green stitching. Falken Tyre logo, and yeah, they're an absolutely incredible seat. Another nice feature is if you want to remove the window for any reason. I don't usually do it, but I always drive with the windows off because I don't like the smoke getting into the car. You just remove these 2 fellas. In case the weather gets really nice in Ireland, really nice touch. It's all a carbon fibre frame, and it's simple to remove and fit. So a lot of carbon fibre going on here too. You can see all the interior, the door, the panel is gone in here, so there's space for the door bars which come out, side impact door protection. full carbon fibre dash with the flock top, so there's no reflection from the sunlight. Corbeau seats and harnesses and seat rails. Hands compatible harnesses are smaller here, so they go over your shoulders. You can see the cage is top class. It's pretty much FIA spec. Running a tilt and hanging pedal box. I really prefer hanging pedals like a production car rather than the floor mount that you'd see in a lot of race cars. It's just personal preference. I'll just sit in, it might be a bit easier to show you. So a lot of nice products in here. We have the ECU master, the keyboard here. When you turn that on, you can see the dash, which is very, very nice. It's got the JD130 logo on it in the background, but I love that. I absolutely love that dashboard. So yeah, you have a keyboard here, which has the fans, nitrous switch, changing the page on the dashboard, auxiliary, windshield washers, and the lights. Obviously start button here if you want to make a lot of noise. His dashboard continues down the center, which is really nice. And there's a sweet little cup holder here, which I use for drinks. Back here you got one of the ECU Master PMUs, and the second one is up the front here with the ECU. Right there also we have the dry sump tank is under this cover. Firewall there, we got the OMP plumbed in fire extinguisher, nitrous, and pretty cool view of the back window from inside. Have the carbon fibre little foot plates. It's just really tidy on both sides. Custom JD130 NRG steering wheel, quick release boss. Yeah, that shows the dash a lot clearer. Usually when I'm sitting in my cars, I'm usually fighting with headspace, but in this car there's absolutely loads of space, and that was one of the things I considered when building a new car, because I wanted to make sure I could get really comfortable. And it's the first car I ever had where I've had to actually move the seat forward from the original position. So yeah, I still have some space to grow, but I don't think that's going to be happening. Hydraulic handbrake and Samsonite sequential here. See it working on the dash. It's really nice, and it's just a very comfortable office. Yeah, so inside here obviously you can see this beautiful piece guiding the air down into the rear mounted radiator. We have the oil cooler here, lightweight battery here, and going to the other side you can see a clearer view. This is just an overflow for the breather for the dry sump tank. Down here we have the Davis Craig electric water pump. Only one water pump for the water system in the car, and it is electric. You can see where the wiring is coming through the bulkhead connector here. It's quite nice and tidy. If you can see that, I think you can. And you can see how really close this is to the radiator. Like, it's getting maximum airflow. And I've never had a car which stays so cool. It's a custom HGK radiator core with custom intakes on it also. All that hot air from the radiator is pulled out through the back of the car with these two huge SPAL fans. Good view of that here. Again, you can see a lot more of the carbon Kevlar from the quarter panels, the boot lid, and this closes like a factory car. It's just quality. You can see carbon fibre fan shroud holding the two SPAL fans. Down here we have the Radium FCST fuel cell. We're actually going to be changing this component over the season. We're going to move the weight more forward. More on that a little bit later. You can see the crash bar here a little bit underneath the car in a second. I'll show you more about that. But the bumper is really cool in the back as well. If you want to remove it, you just take out those few bolts. That cover is held on with a spring. The bumper is super solid on the car, and there's two quick release spring clips here. So pull them out, back bumper off in minutes. And yeah, it takes a lot to knock it off while drifting. I haven't achieved that yet. So yeah, let's get stuck right in to probably one of my favorite parts of the car. Oh, I do love how this looks under the bonnet for sure. It's probably my favorite looking engine bay out of all the cars. Getting right into it, it's a Toyota 2JZ engine. Starting with the engine specs, it's the stock Toyota 3-litre crankshaft. We started off with a new Toyota block. You can still buy these from the factory, which is really, really nice. Billet main caps. It's dry summed. Like all our engines, we're running ACL Race Series engine bearings and the bottom end. Running BC Brian Crower connecting rods, JE pistons, 9.5 to 1 compression ratio. Standard Toyota head gasket. Moving on to the head, we're running BC 1mm oversized valves, dual valve springs and retainers, BC 276 cams and BC cam gears as well. They look awesome. This is a sweet Hypertune billet rocker covers. These are the Super Sport coil packs from Titan Motorsports. Hypertune intake manifold with their throttle body as well. The nitrous, shot of nitrous goes right in here, and you have your 2 nitrous express solenoids here. It's a wet kit. We're running about 70 horsepower shot in this car. Obviously, as I said earlier, the car is dry summed, so here you can see the pump from this angle and belt. Here you can see the mechanical power steering pump, and HEK made this billet CNC pulley, which is much bigger to slow the speed down when we're at high RPMs. Here we have the BorgWarner EFR 9180 turbo, FMIC silicone, K&N air filter. Right here you can see where we have the reservoirs for the clutch, front and rear brakes, and the handbrake as well as T through that. Boost solenoid, all your AN lines, twin Turbo Smart external wastegates, 4-inch downpipe. Here we have you can see the AN lines, so these are the eye lines coming through the bulkhead, water lines coming through the bulkhead, Turbo Smart, fuel pressure regulator, and we're running all the ECU master, pressure sensors, temperature sensors, everything like that. So it is pretty sweet under the bonnet. I love how it looks. Another addition for this year is we're gonna add a strut brace up here, and the entire engine was assembled and built by my brother Mike at D&M Sport. He's been building all my engines over the years, and yeah, this one, like all the others, is super reliable, makes great power, and it's very, very convenient that we can do whatever we need to in the workshop here. We will put the car in the lift, raise it up and show you guys what's going on underneath. So yeah, let's get her up. Right, so let's get stuck in underneath, show you guys what's up. So let's start at the back. Just a little bit dirty from the last day we were out doing some testing, but here's the crash bar. You can see the fuel cell is well protected there from any incidents. We have the Winters quick change performance rear end here, and it's a HEK Racing subframe, so bolts straight in, and it's really nice, some nice welding and brackets to hold it all securely in place. Drive shaft shop axles or half shafts, whichever you prefer. Here we got the custom BC Racing 2-way adjustable coilovers, so up here we can adjust, and on the very top here, depending on our track and whatnot. The last day we were testing, this is a sway bar. We were actually testing the car without the sway bar. We had it disconnected, but this is the arm which connects here to the custom bracket arm, and you can change the diameter of these sway bars. Bigger if you want like more forward grip and less side grip, and smaller if you're looking for more side grip where the car will lean a bit more when this is softer or disconnected, and that usually gives you more digging grip when you're off throttle or under braking. Right here it starts getting quite busy. We have the dry sum tank mounted here. Here the coolant lines going back to the HEK radiator, and I love the way the lines are ran in this car. So the 2 cooling lines are in a little firewall sank up into the floor. Your oil lines are running here in alloy tubes, and here's your fuel lines So everything really neat and tidy all the way off to the engine. Quite a bit going on here. We got the Sprintec air oil separator, which separates the air and the oil coming back from the engine. Then it's returned into this tank through the top. This holds all the engine oil. You'll see the bottom of the engine here is the Titan Motorsports dry sump pan, and you can see we've tried to keep the engine as low as possible and as far back as possible. Here we can see the dry sump pump from the underside, all the wise fab, and we actually run BC Racing single way adjustable coilovers in the front. I usually personally don't adjust the front dampening so much. I keep it quite on the firm side as we run no front anti-roll bar, and that helps a little bit with rear traction. The wise fab kit. So what's a little bit different on this car compared to Nissans that I'm used to is the steering rack is mounted on the front. A real positive point about this is when you're on full lock and under braking, it's much less likely that the wheel is going to get stuck on full lock, because it's a lot easier for the force when the wheel is pushed up all the way out. It's a lot easier for the steering rack to pull the wheel back in rather than trying to do it the other way around on the S chassis. So yeah, it's quite a lot of steering angle. As you can see, this car, we're still learning about this car and trying to get it to feel as similar to the S chassis as possible, because personally I feel like the S chassis is one of the best cars. You can feel the way they snap to angle, the way they transition, and just how comfortable they feel. So we're trying out a lot of different setups with caster and camber, and every time we go out we learn something new, and we're using quite a lot of camber now. It's about 5.5 degrees of camber and almost 8 degrees of caster, and it feels really good. Like the last day out I've really felt comfortable in this car and could throw it around quite hard. Moving back from the engine, we have the Samsonis Motorsport 6-speed sequential transmission. This is a rear-wheel drive, obviously, transmission. This lovely transmission mount from HEK Racing. Obviously, CNC machined. It's absolutely so nice and easy to work with, and I just love all the fine details in this car. Going back from that, we have the Drive Shaft Shop carbon fiber prop shaft. So this is a nice piece of equipment, and it's a new upgrade from this year. We have the protection hoop here, which is in the regulations, just in case you have a drive shaft failure. It'll stop the shaft from trying to come into the car or go down onto the ground or cause some sort of freak accident. So quite safe. So between the engine and gearbox we have in here, you can't really see it, but it's the ACT triple plate clutch. Great clutch. I've been using these since 2014 as well on all of the cars. And we have a fully custom made exhaust. One of my friends, Jer, made this for us at the start of last year. So it's 4-inch oval all the way back to the back. No silencer. Sounds loud, as you know. Obviously we're running all the wise fab suspension on the rear as well. It's quite a bit sophisticated in comparison to the Nissan kit, but what I have noticed about Wisefab on this car is you notice the changes in setup a lot more than you would in an S chassis, where you could be changing things in S chassis all the time and you notice very little difference. With this car, with every click in a coilover or adjusting your toe, adjusting camber, I really noticed the difference in the car. So it's quite interesting. Like, I'm looking forward to getting a lot more testing with the car and seeing how far we can get with it, how far we can push it. So I think next we'll just pull off a wheel so you can see inside of each front and rear wheels. We'll have a look at the brakes. When we talk about wheels and tires, up front we're running the 720, their newest wheel, the Style 5.7 wheel, and Falken Tyres, we're using the RT615K Plus tire in a 245/40/18 up front. Tire sits really nice on the rim, nice and square, and a lot of grip on a 9.5-inch wheel. On the rear, definitely a lot more beefy. We got the 720 Style 5.7 again, with it's 10.5-inch wide. Nice dish in the wheel. It looks quite sweet. It suits the style of this car actually very well. and it's a 295 40/18 inch tire, and it's the same RT615K Plus Falken tire. Brilliant tire, loads of grip. It's the same tire we run in Formula Drift, and have had so much success with this tire in the past. And it does say 295 40/18 on the sidewall, but in the tool that Formula Drift use, it's a measuring tool. It's basically like a ruler that measures from here to there and gives the overall width that's actually making contact with the ground. And this tire measures at 282 millimeters, and the regulation is 285, so it's just right where we want it, and it works really nice. So here we got the Falken brakes. We got Falken TA4 Plus brakes, 2 dual calipers. So this one here is for the foot brake with smaller diameter pistons, so it's not clamping the disc too hard. And you can also, that we have it that way because you can left foot brake quite hard without trying to stop the rear wheels from spinning. So, and the second caliper is with a bigger diameter pistons, and this is for the handbrake. So serious quality brakes there. And one thing I'd like to do with this car in the future is to bring it to a racetrack and see how fast we can go. Maybe put some stickier Falken tires on and see what it's made of. But it definitely has the braking power to do that. Up front we got slightly bigger discs and the Falken TA6 Plus calipers. They're 6-pot instead of the 4-pots on the rear. You can see they're quite beefy and just made for racing, really. I absolutely love the brakes on this car. At night time when you're braking hard, left foot braking, or just braking after the finish line, you can see like tons of sparks coming out from the wheels, so it's a really cool feature at a night event. Here you can see how the headlights are mounted by these lovely small tubes. You can actually buy all these from HGK if you did have a crash. It's just direct replacements. They have these ready to go. So to quickly speak about things we plan to change on for this new season, moving around some of the weight in the car, as the car is currently 52% of the weight is over the rear tires and 48% over the front tires, which is quite, I guess, rare for a drift car. Usually, especially with a 2JZ, usually with a 2J in front of the car, that there's a bit more weight over the front tires. I think it has pros and cons to this. Some of the pros are you have quite a lot of forward grip in the car, but a con is it's a bit lazier to transition, a bit slower to snap and change direction. And also on big angle under braking, the car wants to keep washing a little bit more. So we plan to try to lose some weight and move some of that weight forward. How we plan to do this is we have a new radium fuel cell coming. This one currently is a 10-gallon tank, and we're going down to a 6-gallon tank, and we're moving it from this location right at the back of the car to where the dry sump area is. So we're going to sit the tank down in here, and we're then going to move the dry sump tank all the way forward, and it's basically going to be up on top of the floor here. So basically where the footwell would be right forward against the bulkhead, we're going to move that tank. So we're hoping to get the car a bit closer to 50-50, obviously by losing the weight of the extra fuel that will be in the tank, and moving this forward. A couple of other small things as well to help with weight, but they're definitely the biggest things. And we're also working on the power steering system. We have a good solution with this is the mechanical power steering pump, which works well, but we've been having like a vibration through the steering wheel, which you might have seen in some videos from last year. And we're playing with restrictors and a return line to try to fix this. And we've also found an alternative electric power steering system, which works really nice, but it's heavier and it draws more current. So we're hoping to make this mechanical setup work perfectly, and yeah, as soon as we can get back on track, we'll be testing those few upgrades. In terms of the engine, we're just giving it a freshen up, and that's pretty much it for what's going on for preparing the car for the new season. Yeah, so in terms of the build of the car, HEK did all the fabrication work, mounting the seats, the handbrake, fuel cell, radiator, basically getting every bit of welding done on the chassis itself, and brought the chassis to this silver HEK signature colour. And then we collected the car as a rolling chassis, brought it back to Ireland, and then we finished the car over here at our workshop, D&M Sport. So building the engine, doing all the plumbing, all the lines, the wiring, final assembly, the paint work was done by my good friend Martin O'Mara. Like all my cars, looks absolutely sweet. And yeah, there was a lot of time went into finishing the car. We managed to do it in I think about 4 weeks, and went straight to our first event in Austria last year. So it's been an incredible journey with this car, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, going through the build process and everything that the car has. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week, where I'll show you guys around the simulator and how I'm getting used to the world of sim drifting. So take care guys, thank you.